All right, we are back on the Connected Design podcast and excited to be flying, snow sledding out to
Snow sledding
Michigan,
for
more
sure.
appropriate, out there to Michigan to talk to Miss Amanda Wildman. Appreciate you taking the time. I know, is it still safe to say Happy New Year? I don't know. What's the
Hey,
cutoff?
let's
you know,
celebrate the whole month. Let's
you know.
bring back month-long celebrations.
I
So
love it.
yes,
Cool.
January
Yeah.
is always going to be Happy New Year.
That's fine
The
by
whole
me.
month.
Fine by me. Well, happy New Year. Happy new ventures to the both of us. Lots of exciting things going on. And just, hey, appreciate you taking the time and wanting to chat with us.
Yeah, no, of course. I'm so excited. I was super excited to hear that you guys are, kind of relaunching this, or I don't know, is it considered a relaunch or is it
Yeah, we
considered
could
a
go
brand
there.
new venture
Yeah,
or
a little bit of both.
but I think anything that we can do to try to, connect, as in your title, connect technology with design, connected design. I mean, anything that we can do to kind of like merge those two worlds is fantastic. So I'm so excited to hear you guys doing this, and I cannot wait to help support and encourage and share all of this kind of stuff you guys are doing. It's
That
great.
means a lot. Thank you a ton for saying that. Means a lot to us, and I know that just as excited as we are for what we have coming. I know we got a lot to talk about, and we're excited to dive into some new ventures and new opportunities and things that are going on in your world. But to be the good storyteller that we are, we're gonna bury the lead a little bit. So
Yeah.
keep those
Okay. Well,
listeners around.
that's all right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Make sure that they aren't totally sick of hearing
yeah,
from
right.
me yet. So
Right. Oh, I love it. But so before we get to all that exciting stuff, and I am excited to get to it, tell us a little bit about True Media Home and what you guys are doing and what the how business is out there.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, True Media is a integration design firm that I own with my husband. August actually will be 23 years that we've owned it. So, as I affectionately like to call it, a mom and pop shop. Started with a husband and wife, and it's been a journey. We've been through a lot of different things. I mean, we started in the satellite world. That's what kind of originally got us in, and moved into the integration sector when we got involved in CEDIA in 2014. So that's been a while. And about, I think 5 years ago now, we started venturing into adding electrical into our company. And
Mhm.
so I'm actually doing my electrical journeyman license. I've got my hours in, just starting to, do some of my test review and my class review and trying to prove that you can still teach an old dog new tricks. Because when I first came in, I was probably young in the industry, and I look now and I'm like, oh my gosh, like now I'm starting to turn into one of the old ones. And, I'm seeing my kids kind of like come to shows and stuff with me, and they're like, Mom,
Uh-oh.
like, oh, like you're just the old person, like that's not cool. And I'm like, oh
Oh, jeez.
great.
No.
So don't worry. I mean, if you ever want to be humble, take
Bring
your
your kids
kids
somewhere.
somewhere with you,
Yeah,
and they
I
they
get that.
yeah, they humble you, especially as they get older,
I
for
get that
sure.
for sure. Oh my gosh, goodness,
So
that's awesome. Now, a husband and wife venture, is that something that you ever thought was in the cards, let alone one in the custom integration space?
heavens to Betsy, and I will tell you, no, that was not the case. Did not see it in the cards. I will tell you, it's not for the weak. Family-owned businesses are not for the weak. And that goes for, I've spoken with lots of people that have, been where they maybe dad or somebody owned it, and now, like, you think of Heather Sidorowitz,
Mhm.
who I think she just
Yeah.
celebrated like 25 years now with the company. And she took it over. I mean, she and I she was actually on the board when I first came on the board. She was one of the first early females. We have had a few females on the CEDIA board, but she is phenomenal. And she always shares great stories too of
Yeah.
some of the hiccups along the way, some of the challenges that you have. And then Jamie Briesmeister and her husband Jeff, I mean, good friends of mine, and they are doing phenomenal. They just opened up a brand new showroom, I think like last year, which has been awesome. But I mean, everyone has their challenges. I think the biggest difference with family owned or relative, owned businesses is you also have that desire to our family is going to succeed no matter what. So some things that might break other people, if you have like other partnerships or things like that, generally I think they don't break as much with family owned businesses. You spend a lot of time together, but you also have a, there's a different level of a bond where
Yeah.
you're going to do whatever it takes. And, even like I said, all the way down to my kids will tell you stories of growing up where, mom and dad had to get a job done, and we've owned this business their whole lives. So it wasn't uncommon to take them out into the field with us. And, my son's favorite story is we worked on a particular, I'll say, pretty famous person's house. And so we went back to school the next day, and he goes, I worked on that person's, or I slept at that person's house because he fell asleep because it was a really late night that we were doing pulling wire. Of
Yeah.
course, that person wasn't there, or,
Right.
anything like that, but
Right.
mom and dad had to get the job
Yep.
done. And so, of course, that gave him like some street cred with, the third graders at school that he knew this cool person's house,
That's awesome.
kind of a thing. So it's a different level, you have
Yeah.
there's pros and cons for sure.
Well, even beyond, like, to dive deeper into it, I know I ask about, the husband-wife
Mhm.
venture. I mean, pulling wire. Like, is that,
Y-
is
Yeah.
that something you thought you'd be doing, in your career?
No, well, one, I don't even know that, school teachers, advisors know that pulling wire is even an option.
Right.
So
Hence
that
all the
we'll
work you're
start with
doing at
that,
CEDIA,
right?
right? Like all the work on,
Yeah,
right?
yes.
So, it's true.
We're trying to
You know?
make people aware that that's a career
Exactly.
option.
Yeah.
But no, it's no, did not think that I was doing that. I mean, I worked in jewelry for Pete's sakes. I mean,
Yeah.
I was telling my parents the other day, I was like, I used to have nice hands with like really pretty nails, and I would like wear jewelry, and like now I'm debating, I'm going to ISE in a couple of weeks, and of course, I'm going to do the cords
Right.
termination challenge because like you got to do it. Like
Right.
everybody's got to do it. I want to see everyone's name on the board. But one year, I think 2 years ago, I made a huge mistake, and I made sure that I had nails on when I went there, right? Because I wanted to have like pretty nails. And then I was like, you cannot terminate cables with like
Fake nails on.
acrylic nails.
Right.
So like I said, this is terrible. Like these are the
Oh no.
decisions that I make before I go to ISE is can I have my nails done or not?
Yeah.
So
Oh, that's amazing. It flashed in my head too, the Seinfeld with George Costanza wearing the gloves as the hand model. Like, that's
yeah,
what came
well,
to
you
mind.
see those what is it now on TikTok? Have you seen there's this crazy guy out there and he tapes like finishing nails to his
Oh
nails because
jeez.
he goes, I'm gonna do like an unboxing of my, visit to Home Depot. And so he tapes these like nails and he does like this ASMR, like
Yeah, oh
the
jeez.
tapping thing and like
Yeah.
check out these new light bulbs that I got. And it's just hilarious. But truthfully, I mean the cords challenge is pretty awesome and pretty amazing to do. And I've seen some super, super fast people do it. But I will tell you, it takes it to a whole nother level if you have acrylic nails. Like, so
It's like a new
I'm not
life
gonna lie
skill.
because I'm competitive.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm competitive and I want my name to be at least towards the top of the list. I think that if you see me, I won't have nails on because I'm too competitive.
Or,
Because I don't want to have to rip them off.
or I was gonna say you could almost work them into, like, if they had specialized ones for for terminating cables, right? Use them as the tool, like,
Yeah, could be.
Oh, that's awesome.
But you,
So,
you got to have fun and laugh about
right?
work. I mean, because let's face it, everyone that's been out there and pulled wire, like pulling wire
I
is
get it.
not the funnest job. So I mean, if you can laugh, in a day while you're out there doing it, and you got to have fun with it. So
That's too good.
yeah.
Now, yeah, again, even aside from just that not being in the cards for you, to educate yourself on it, talk about what that's been like to understand. I mean, I have imagined, I mean, zero industry knowledge as far as
Yeah.
like what you were getting into.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No institutional knowledge whatsoever. I mean, and I will tell you, my husband and I, we joke, we say we've probably paid more than our fair share of stupid tax, and I think a lot of businesses do that. That's what we call, when you don't know what you don't know, and
Right.
you do something and you learn, from it, but sometimes it can cost you. So we call it stupid tax. We've definitely done our fair share of that, as I'm sure most integrators out there have done. But no, that's where CEDIA just became so instrumental. I mean, I think I came to my first expo in 2013, and I just wanted to be able to know how to talk about the industry because I didn't necessarily see it in the cards for me that I would be out in the field. I was maybe more in the office, figured I'd talk to designers and stuff. So the first course that I took was at the time it was called the CEDIA Outreach Instructor Program, and now it's called the CEDIA Design Build Outreach Program. And I figured, well, if I could go there and I could learn how to speak about the industry to other people, maybe I would also, learn along the way. And so that was like back in, oh gosh, 2014. And Peggy Ward, who's no longer with CEDIA, but she was there for a great number of years. She was awesome. Um, she pulled me aside after class and she said, "Hey, you seem to like really want to learn and have a good attitude about it. And I'm looking to bring some more women in, and I'd like to introduce you to some of the ladies, in the industry. And we've got some volunteer groups. Would you be interested?" And I mean, I always think, everyone's always like, "Oh, thank you, for volunteering." And I'm like, "No, thank you for creating the opportunities for me to volunteer
Right.
because I've learned so much more, through my volunteering." I mean, when you can sit down and like you look at some of the volunteers, and I've been so blessed to have so many great like volunteers and mentors and people that I've worked alongside that have poured that knowledge, into me. I definitely don't ever profess that I will ever be the smartest person in the room in this industry. We have way too many super, super smart people. But what I will tell people is I know the smartest people in the room. And so, you get that way through volunteering, and spending, your time. And I think that that's what makes CDS so unique and makes it so special is I joke, but people that really get into this and get involved in this, it's like we either drank the Kool-Aid or like, we bleed the Cedia orange. But we do. I mean, when you have a group of people that are exceptionally knowledgeable, that are willing to share that I can honestly say have gone from being a teacher to a mentor to now being some of my best friends, like that's transformational. And I
Yeah.
don't care what organization, what group is out there. Um, you don't get that anywhere else.
Yeah.
And that's what I think is so cool about it.
It
So yeah.
gives you the good feels. Like I just listen to you talk about it, you get that like warm and fuzzies. It's pretty
Good.
cool
Well, I
to hear
hope
that,
so.
right?
I
Yeah,
mean,
right.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
it's the cool thing about it too is for those that know me, in kind of my background, I right out of school, one of the first publications I ever worked for was called Associations Now, which it's the American Society of Association Executives. So when they say there's an association for everything, there is one for association people. So it
Oh,
is the fact.
wow.
So there's an
Wow.
association for
Crazy.
association people. It's pretty cool. But like hearing you talk that way is exactly what like the heart of any association is, right? Is that collection of professionals or, people in an industry or for some cause that come together to help make not only just that profession or that space, whatever it is, better, but like the people within it, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's, I mean, to hear that you're like a perfect example of CEDIA having been a successful at that
Yeah.
over the last decade plus, and it's just
Yeah.
really cool to hear that.
Yeah. No, I mean, I feel blessed every single day,
Yeah,
to, like I said, these people are my friends. And it's almost like, if you're a video gamer and everybody's looking for like the cheat code,
yeah,
like I feel like if you volunteer, like it's the cheat code for like learning how to do stuff, right?
right,
Because I can't begin to tell you how much faster and how much better you learn the things and the people that you're around. And like I said, being able to say like if well, I don't know the answer, but I certainly know the person who does know the answer, or
right,
like to be able to have like three or four people that you can call on to like ask, so that hopefully over time you pay less in the stupid tax. I mean, everyone's willing to share their stupid tax story, of where they messed up, and people genuinely, I think this industry is unique. I mean, we get to do really fun stuff. I mean, we're not accountants. We don't do boring stuff. We aren't bogged down with paperwork every day. I mean, we
yeah,
make people's lives better. I mean, really, I mean, this should be like the job that every, a guidance counselor or whatever is telling, students about. I mean, really, like
yeah.
you get to do really, really cool stuff. How fun is that? And, CD is the heartbeat, hopefully of all of that for people. I know certainly for me, it has been the heartbeat. So,
Well, and what I love too is thinking about just your personal growth within the channel, but then like CEDIA specifically too, to where before we even get to the title you just added to your resume, like you played a big part for someone that, I mean, we just talked about it, right? Came in with no institutional knowledge of custom integration. And I
Yeah.
think back to this past fall and a little bit earlier into the summer. I mean, you played a big role in the education track for CEDIA Expo and like
Yeah.
building that out for the association. And I mean, you talk about a testament of that's the association doing its job of making sure that you had, you know, access to the things you needed to train, but also kind of your want to dive in head first into this industry as well, right? And learn it and soak up the knowledge and,
Yeah.
you know, become an expert at it.
Well, I mean, we were in the boardroom and, it came up, we had that position open, and I had had experience working with, workforce development. I've worked with the business working group. I've worked in certifications. I was, prior to being on the board, I was the chair of the Professional Development Advisory Council. Just after Mitch Klein. I mean, gosh,
Yeah.
I learned so much from Mitch Klein. And I mean, there's so many names. I couldn't even name all of the names of the people that I learned from. And, we were in the boardroom and I told Daryl, they were hiring a new position and we're so lucky we've got that position filled now, Evan West, which all of you guys are going to, meet him. You're going to get to know him. He is a great guy who has literally been like an amazing sponge, trying to suck up knowledge. And I said to Daryl, I said, look, I go, we'll bring a new person in and that's awesome and that's great. But like Expo was coming up so quickly. And I said, can I pitch, to the board, of helping to curate it this year and working alongside him. And the board was gracious enough to let me pitch it. And so I went in and I said, look, it wasn't about could I do it? It was that I knew the people that I knew
Yeah.
could do it. And that's what it is. Like, if there's anything that, I'd ever want to be known for is that I would like to be known as like a connector. I would like to be like known as like, I know the people and can I connect people? And, through that whole work, if you haven't met Rachel Nash yet, who's on CEDIA staff, she is phenomenal. She and I talked daily. If it wasn't for her and her amazing organizational skills, I mean, it was truly a team effort. And as soon as Evan got hired on, I mean, he jumped right in, feet first and like soaking stuff up.
Mm-hmm.
And truthfully, like, I mentioned, these people that I volunteered with over the years, it was amazing how many people, like, I had a vision for what it could be, but like every person that I called and I said, hey, could you do this? Would you be willing to teach this? Would you be willing to share your knowledge in that? Like everyone, like overwhelmingly was like, of course, where do I sign? How do I do it? And like people were phenomenal. And to me, that's what the community is about. It wasn't about just like, doing the job. It was pulling the people together and just maybe kind of getting a little bit of that framework, but it
Yeah.
was exceptionally rewarding. And we had really great classes. We had a lot of new classes, great instructors. I think that a lot of people, the sentiment was, education after COVID, we had maybe a little bit of a lull. People were starting to be excited and say, you know what, education and stuff is coming back.
Yeah.
ISE coming up in a couple weeks is going to be awesome. I've heard that numbers are even already up for education on that. I'll be helping out at a couple classes. I'll be on a couple classes and on a couple stage talks. And again, it's pulling together the best people.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about. When you've got the best people with the best knowledge and they're willing to share, like, why wouldn't you? I mean, everybody
Right.
every year should be going to Expo, should be getting the education pass. The all access pass, I mean, that's the other cheat code that's out there in the world. When you get the all access pass, you get to go to every class. Like,
Right.
duh. Like, that's the
Take
best
advantage.
investment money that you can make.
Yeah.
I mean, for years, that's all that I did. And I went to every single class that I could. Otherwise, there's no way to do what I've done and like
Right.
learn
Right.
the amount that I've learned,
Again, just a testament to a path in this channel where, it doesn't matter the level of experience you're coming in with it. There's ways to find the cheat code, if you will,
Absolutely.
to buy that. But I used to not necessarily the cheat codes. I was more the kid that would buy the guidebooks and like
Yeah.
I'd had it there, and if I tried not to, I tried to have it be a waste of money, right? Like
Yeah.
I'd gone through Zelda and like want to, like
Or
I
the
don't want to
easy
open the
button,
book, but
right? Like
right,
who doesn't want the easy button,
right,
right? Right? That little
exactly.
like Staples red like easy button,
But
like
it's there. It's that
it's
you like you
there.
should use it. So that
Yeah.
no, that's awesome. Well, I
Yeah.
fast forward to just recently, and I know I
Yeah.
think we've sufficiently buried the lead here,
Yeah.
and can talk about it. Right, they officially announced as the chairperson of the CEDIA Global Board of Directors, and
Yeah.
beyond just that, and I know it's something I did. You're one that doesn't like to have the total spotlight, right? but the first female to hold that position as well, and that is a major deal. Like that is
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
So I want to give you a chance to just you hear that news, you've been elected. It's a membership elects it.
Yeah.
You find out. How do you feel about it?
First of all, it's like super humbling. And it's literally it is such an honor to like, there's been amazing board members, there's been amazing chair people, prior to me. I talk with a lot of them. I can't tell you how many of them have already like reached out via email and given me, a tip or a word of advice, or given me a phone call. And I think that that's important, is that, one, yes, it's very important that, we do have a female. And I think that that's great. And I would be remiss if we obviously didn't mention that. But we've had a lot of really great females. I'm not certainly the first. I mean, I might be the first in the chair position, but there have been so many females before me that have like helped to blaze a trail. I mean, Mary Ellen very well. She started in this industry even before I was. Carol Campbell, you've got Helen Hunnefeld. I mean, she was like one of the very first like OG female technicians, like out in the field, which love her to pieces. And there's so many amazing women. Melissa Andresco, I mean, shoot, she started in this industry right out, fresh out of college, and so while yes, I'm the first maybe in this particular role, that doesn't mean that there aren't a ton of phenomenal, women that, have been in this industry and are expanding even more. And I think that was a testament the last, couple of years. I mean, who knew that we could keep doing, 40 women in the industry and highlighting 40 every year and we aren't repeating the same 40. I mean, a
Right.
couple of years ago you might have been pressed to get 40, and now we're getting more,
Yeah.
and so I think that that's really really great. What I also think is really unique is I think for probably the first time maybe in a minute, um, that we've had someone in the chair role that has actually been out in the field, as well. And
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
one thing that I kind of like really pride myself on is when I go into that room, I want to not only represent, the mom and pop business owner. I not only want to represent, the women, because I've got some great, examples of leaders before me, but I also want to really represent, like you could start off and you can be a technician and you can work your way up. And like,
Hmm.
my favorite funny story is when I first got on the board, um, when I found out about it, right, because it was a slightly different process or whatever for voting in, and that year a lot of people were running, and I kid you not, I was out in Holland, Michigan. It was summer, so it wasn't snow, but don't worry, it wasn't great either. I was literally in a crawl space under a house, like in a basement, and
That's
out in
perfect.
Holland, yeah, they have a lot of sand.
Yep.
So it was like a crawl space with like a sandy like bottom. So here I am, and like I drew the short end of the straw because we were pulling wire, and I was the shortest person that could get into the space, right? So that's how it works. So sometimes you get the hat that you wear because you can fit the
Right.
thing. I was the shortest. So I'm under there and we're pulling wire and I have my phone in my pocket and it's very short space. And all of a sudden, like my phone is like ding, da ding, da ding, da ding, da ding, like dinging off a hook, right? Of people congratulating me for getting on the board. And I was like, how apropos that here
Right.
I
That's so
am,
perfect.
genuinely in a crawl space, like finding out that I'm on the board. And I'm like, how you do those things, like which one of these does not belong?
Yeah,
Like,
right.
does someone in a crawl space in sand really belong in a boardroom? I don't know, but I will tell you that I've had the most fun
Yeah.
kind of on this journey, right? And I've learned from so many people. I mean, we my whole time of being on the board, like we've had so many amazing board members. I mean,
Yeah.
Jamie, Joe, Bill Scare, like all of these people, and even, new people, that are coming in now. We've got Rich Green is new, coming back. He's been on the
Yep.
board in the past. Mary Ellen,
Yep.
yay, I'm so
I know.
excited. She's here. And
Huge.
so we've got some really, really great leaders, and they really have, a heart for the industry. And so it's
Yeah.
like, let's have some fun with this.
Let's
Like,
go. Yeah.
I'm excited about it. I'm excited to share
Yeah.
what I've learned, what the knowledge is, but also just to share a unique perspective. I'm
Yeah.
not a manufacturer. I'm not just in marketing.
Yep.
I kind of feel like I've done the gamut, and it's a different perspective.
Right, right, for
So
sure,
yeah,
and an exciting one. I know. I think a lot of people, and I'm sure they've already told you, they're excited to see kind of what you do and what your vision is for, the next couple of years. 2 year term, is that
yeah,
right? It's
it
26 to
is. It
28.
is. Yeah, hold
So,
on tight, buddy,
yeah,
because
right. Let's go.
everyone that sent me a congratulations, I'm like, awesome. I'm so glad you're congratulating me. Hang on tight, because I have a master list of
I
everybody that congratulates. And I'm like, just so you know, I'm coming back for you.
right,
Like, you're going to
right.
be part of this awesome news. It's a team effort, folks. It's a team sport.
So to that point, and exactly that, it's kind of leading me down the right path. Like, what obviously, now that you have the opportunity to kind of envision what these next couple of years look like, it's not something, I know anyone going into the role is probably not like all these massive changes need to happen, things like that, but like you want to leave an impact, right? So what
Yes.
what do you hope that, 2 years from now, looking back, that impact was?
Yeah. No, that's a really great question. Um, and sometimes I look at the, calendar, and I think, oh my gosh, 2 years is a really long time. And then there's another piece of me that is like panicking, because I'm like, 2 years to do all the things that I would love to do,
Yeah.
isn't necessarily going to happen. But what can we do? And, a couple of the big things, and I think that CEDIA is like on the right track, is, like I said, education, for me, is of utmost importance. I think that that's part of the reason that, um, that the board felt strongly enough about putting me in this position, is because I think that they understand that, I might have a unique perspective, because of how much volunteering that I've done in education,
Yeah.
but also kind of seeing what my journey is, right? Like, how can we do, I shouldn't be the only story where you can take someone in 10 years that doesn't have any of the knowledge and get them to my level. How do we do it faster, and how do we do it for more people? And so I think education is going to be a huge thing. Paul, I think I'm super excited working with Paul.
Mhm.
You guys are going to get to see some new announcements coming up. We're doing a little bit of restructure in there. There's going to be tons of opportunity, for volunteers to come in and be, same as how I was in the pathway. So I think that is going to be one. And then two, I'm super excited about what it is that we're doing with the design build community. We've started doing some research. We started doing some stuff with, KBiz. We're doing some research, in some other areas. They're actually in the process right now of hiring, an individual that will work directly on CEDIA staff, working directly with the design build community. So we're really doing a year of investment. And CEDIA, we're in great shape. We have great, numbers, great books, and things like that. And so, the board felt really comfortable and said, you know what, this is going to be a year of reinvestment. And what can we do? What do our members need? And ultimately, what is going to help people, business owners like myself, be able to be profitable and be able to have their business, and then hire their employees and be able to provide a good life for their employees. And a big piece of that is having the knowledge, right? So the education and the know-how of how to do it, but also it is our job to help open up the doors to the people that, make the decisions, right, around having an integrator or not having an integrator. And so I think you're going to see that we're going to be all in, on both of those avenues, and focusing on that, not only making sure that we level up our association and our industry to be professional, and what does that mean at a professional level, and then also to like showcase that to the design build community, so that we are not just an afterthought, right? Like, do you have
Mhm.
somebody who's doing tech on the project? But really understand that we are a needed asset on every single project. You know, I tell people all of the time, in Michigan, we have basements, right? Almost every home has a basement. I know that not every
Mhm.
area is that way, but in Michigan, we have basements. A lot of times when people build their home, they might not finish out the basement. And
Right.
what's interesting to me is even on a project for a homeowner, you could have a different electrician come in and you could have a different electrician finish out the basement. You could have a different designer because your design changes. Sometimes the builder that built your house won't even do a finish out on the basement, right? They will have a totally separate division of that. But I will tell you is a constant that stays constant is the integrator. If you have
Mhm.
technology on your first floor or your second floor or whatever, you're going to want that same person to come back and do the technology in the basement, right?
Yep.
And we are a unique trade in the fact that if we do our job properly, if we get to know the homeowner, if we get to know their expectations of how they want their life to be best lived in their home and space, we stay with them for life.
Mhm.
That means like when they first get their first house and they maybe want to have some security cameras or have some cameras, or doorbells or whatever, their first job, their first place, they want a little bit of security. They're still doing a lot of travel. They come home late at night. That's one thing. Then they have kids. Your
Mhm.
technology needs change. What does that mean for a baby in the house? What does that mean, for a family member? Your needs change again when you have like toddlers, right? Making sure that they can't get outside, making sure that they can't get to the pool without somebody knowing.
Yep.
Latchkey kids, as they get older, more and more kids, come home on their own. So, like, if you are a good integrator and you know your homeowners and you build those relationships, we go every single step of the way with our clients. Like, we are that valuable. We just need to let the public know that that's what it is and that we're here to partner with them so that they have their best life with technology.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
Good, good.
It's a mic drop moment right there. That's impressive. And I mean, it's why, it's why CEDIA exists, is to help share that message. I mean, selfishly, I feel like it's why I exist, is to help share that message too, is like, we want to get the stories out there of integrators like yourself and like so many others in this space that are doing that work and becoming that trusted advisor, that tech advisor to them, right? And I
Yeah.
beyond just tech too, there's so much more. Like tech is, I guess, at the heart of all of what it is, right? That connects it, but I mean, there's so much more to it than just that. And I mean, that word
It's
in and
it's
of it,
not the gadgets,
right?
I
Like the
mean,
word gets muddled, right? It has the
yeah.
connotation of like the TV or the VR headset or this and that, like the things we saw just a couple weeks ago at CES here. It's way more than that, and some of that stuff was there, sure, yeah. There was that, the smart home stuff, the home automation stuff, but like it goes even beyond that, and it's exciting to kind of see your take on it, your direction, and it's impressive, and the kind of just your journey in and of itself is impressive, and then the ambition, I think, is something too that
Mm.
is exciting, right, for what
Well,
you have in mind.
yeah, and I couldn't do it without, being able to have, like I said, an awesome team. We've got an
Mhm.
awesome group of people in the boardroom. I mean, I would be remiss if I didn't, mention Daryl, like the CEO being a great partner. I mean, that poor man, when they first hired him on, I was not on the search team. I was on the board when they did the search for him, but not on the search team. But when he came in, the first thing that I said to him is I said, look, you don't have to take me up on this. But I said, the best way for you to learn about our industry and learn about what we do is do a ride along. And I go, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's not a like we're gonna be fancy ride along. Like you need to come and be ready to work. And he took
Did,
me up on it. I mean, I
did you
think within
throw?
his
I hope you
first
threw
two
him in a crawl
weeks.
space.
Oh, well, so here's the funny story about him is I knew the first job we went and we did everything. I picked him up in the morning in one of my work vans. So like he literally got to pick up in a work van and we grabbed coffee and we went to the shop and we loaded up the truck with all the stuff. We get to the first job and I knew that we were not going to need my tool bag, right?
Yeah,
But I also know that for any technician that knows out there, like your tool bag, like is your pride of joy, and it's usually pretty freaking heavy.
yeah.
And mine is no exception. I have my own tool bag, my own tools. Nobody messes with them, but like it does get pretty heavy. I was like, I knew we weren't going to use it, but I wanted him at the end of the night to go home remembering like a little bit of sore,
Yeah, just a
right?
little
So like
sore.
I made him take it in. I made him take it in. I made him take it up the stairs to the
Yes.
second floor. We didn't use it, but I'm like, well, we have it here. It's all prepped,
You need
and everything.
it.
And then we went back down to the basement of that house, and well, we got to take our tool bag with us. So like, poor Daryl. Like, here's Daryl, like doing the stairs. It was a pre-wire, so we had him up in the rafters. I mean, he was pulling
Wow.
wire through rafters. I mean, I got pictures of him, like
That's so awesome.
literally, with a whole hog. I mean, like if you can imagine, like, I mean, poor Daryl probably had no idea what he was getting into. But like,
My
and that's what
man.
I love about him is he
Yeah.
was so game, for doing it. And if you ask him still to this day, is he actually walks around with a little Cat 5 connector that we did like that day. And it was so
Yep.
funny because here we are down in the basement and he goes to terminate the cable and he did a great job. And I was like, wow, I'm actually really impressed. And he goes, well, how do I know if it works? And like, so this is me. I was kind of being a little bit lazy because like I didn't have the wires terminated on the other
Yep.
end to test it, but like he was not going to let me leave. We were not going to move on until I could test it and verify if his cable passed. And it did, it passed. And no lie, I promise you, it did pass. And it was cute because you could just see the excitement on his
Yeah.
face and like the
Yeah.
pride. And like, as everybody has, the first time that you do something and you do it right and you do it properly. And there was like some extra cable there. So I looked at him and I was like, I go, if you want, you can keep it. Like we can cut it off and you can keep it. And no lie, he still walks around with that like in his pocket. And he
How
goes,
awesome.
every time I got to remember who I'm representing, like he goes, I carry this around. And I thought, how cool is that the
Yeah.
CEO of our industry association remembers and tries to learn the perspective of everyone all the way down to even the technician level.
Yeah.
So often it can be like, what level are you at in the industry? And maybe the technician is like, someone would consider lower.
Right.
Technicians are the heartbeat. Like
Hmm.
they're the ones that make it happen. I mean, I have nothing but respect. I'm like, if you can survive a Michigan winter pulling wire or a Texas heat in an
Yeah.
attic, like, you deserve all the accolades in the world. Like
Yeah.
you're the rock star. You're like, they're the backbones. They're the ones that make it work. We can create the stuff. Manufacturers are awesome. They give us great products, everything like that. But like, let's be fair. Like, if it's not for the technicians
Right.
doing what it is that they do, like they really are the core
I
of
mean,
our industry.
cliche to say, but those cables are akin to the veins that run through our body. So it's
Yeah.
like, they
And
make
it
the
won't be
house come to life.
outsourced.
Yeah, right. I know.
Robots are not doing it. So,
Not at
like,
all. So, but that's awesome too because I mean, here's this guy that comes from the recording industry and thinks like, oh,
yeah.
music and these guys are AV guys. Like, it's gonna be this. I'd probably get it right off the bat, and then to like go into having that experience with you, that is
Yeah.
awesome. Like, welcome to the
Well,
real world.
well, and when
Like,
he was like, when he goes back and sees how many wires,
yeah,
he goes, like, there's that much. And I'm like, yeah. I'm
yeah.
like, it's a lot of wire to like make your house function, like,
Hmm.
especially like even a wireless network. That's always my big thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, it takes a lot of wire to be
Right to make
wireless.
right. It's unreal. No, that's
But
awesome.
he's like, what is there's not something easier? There's not something like shorter? I'm like, no, like this is manual labor, like at its finest, Now imagine doing it with frozen fingertips or like sweating your tail
Forget it.
off,
Oh, I want to ask too. While I have you,
Yeah.
the hearing kind of your outset and your mindset and your goals is awesome. Are there any, like what are the hurdles you foresee this industry, whether it's the industry or even just your time on the board? Like what do you foresee being a challenge for this channel or the association kind of over the next while you're at in this position?
Yeah, well, that's a great question. I think a couple things is time and resource, right?
Sure.
First, right? Like I said, time, 2 years, it seems like a long time, but it's going to go by, I know, in a blink. Resource, people are busy. They have a lot going on. I mean, this doesn't happen without people volunteering. I mean,
Right.
no, like it's not going to just be me. It's not just going to be Daryl. Like there's not one person that can champion this and can shoulder this. It literally is a team sport. It is a team effort. So that I think is a challenge. The other thing is I think that, there's there's other things out there in the world. There's more shows that are coming up. There's, more groups that are coming up. There's more, Facebook groups. And it feels a little bit, sometimes like squirrel, right? You're like, wait, squirrel, like what's going on? Like this person has this going on, that person has that going on. I think that we need to really find a way that all of these groups, instead of perceiving it as being competition, we need to perceive a way of how do we all work together. We all have different gifts. We all have different, talents. There's things that CEDIA can do that other groups can't do. There are things that other groups can do that maybe CEDIA can't do, or maybe CEDIA is slower at doing. But ultimately, how do we all work together to make sure that the greater populace of individuals and homeowners know that our industry exists?
Yeah.
And that's, I think, the biggest thing is how do we all leverage what our gifts are to create the largest impact out there in the world, the largest impact to the design build community, the largest impact to architects, to homeowners, to things like that. That's the most important. Whether it's a Facebook group, a buying group, whether it's, another show, whether it's the commercial side versus residential side, like we all have to leverage what we're good at. We all have to figure out how to work together, and we all have to learn how to like magnify or I grew up, I was a cheerleader in high school, so like be the megaphone
Yeah.
To the greater world
Yeah.
out there, let people know that there's help out there, that we exist. And yeah.
Well, that's even it too, right? I mean, I think that's a great point of it's not just you, it's not just Dara, it's not just CEDIA. It's everyone in the space that has to kind of get behind the collective effort to let everyone know what this channel is about and who this channel is and what it's made up of. And, even beyond like the work we do or the work that the channel does, like how it collaborates with the other professions that are out there and the importance of that.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's cliche to say it, but that connected design, right? Like it's
Yeah,
just,
yeah,
it was
yeah.
there for me, right? I had to take it.
Yeah.
But no, like how we need to work together to just make the space better, make people's lives and homes better, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. No.
I mean, right after ISE, I mean, that's, going to have residential, right? That's CEDIA and Avixa. So you see a lot of commercial, you see a lot of residential. Shortly after that, I mean, Tom Doherty with HTSA doing Light-A-Palooza, that's an awesome show. I will be at that show. I think that that's great. But there's different things that different groups do. I mean, CEDIA right now is the one that's positioned to do some really stellar stuff with advocacy, and we're really making some awesome leaps, particularly in the UK and in Australia with, some of the apprenticeship programs and things like that. So we're really starting to, get some good traction with that. Some of those other groups aren't necessarily able to do that same thing the way that CEDIA can. So you know what? Those other groups, once those things become available, can, lean on and support with CEDIA, and, and vice versa. We all have skills, we all have strengths, we all have weaknesses. But if we don't figure out how to work, really, really well together, that would be the saddest thing to me, is that if the populace or the people out there just, they didn't know that someone in our industry existed.
Yeah, no,
So.
it speaks to the importance of the work you guys are doing, the work truly everyone in the channel's doing,
Yeah.
whether they know it or not, right? Like
It's exciting times.
it really is. So exciting to just be a part of it, and obviously exciting to kind of watch you and what you and the rest of the board will be doing, and we look forward to continuing to cover it. But
yeah, I'll challenge you though. You're not going to be watching; you'll be participating.
Exactly.
I will circle everyone in. I don't want fans.
Well,
no offense. I don't want fans. That means that you're watching from the stands.
Well,
I want teammates.
Yeah.
So whoever wants to be a teammate, send me an email. Let me know, because the more teammates, the more people we have. Many hands make light work. The more people we can get involved, the better I think it's going to be for everybody. And I promise, you will always get more out than what you put in. I promise that.
I love it, and we'll make sure all the links to support, get involved, they'll be underneath
Yeah.
here. So we're not gonna make it
Perfect.
very
Well,
easy
and
to get
CEDIA
involved.
is awesome. I have the
Yeah,
best email address in the world, just so you know. They always do first initial your name plus your last name at cedia.org. And
perfect.
so Amanda Wildman is my last name.
Yep.
So there is officially
A
a
wild man.
Wildman at cedia.org. So see, you'll never forget that email. I did tell Daryl I'm keeping that email address forever.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so
So
there's
good.
a Wildman, and it's
At
spelled
CEDIA.
exactly how it sounds at CEDIA. So you can never forget.
That is incredible. Well, I hope that at Wildman enjoys their time at the helm of the board, and like I said, we look forward to not only watching but actively participating in the work you're doing. So we
That's
appreciate
awesome.
it,
Thank you.
and look forward to continuing to follow the story.
Yeah, and thanks for all you guys are doing. I'm excited to see and I'm excited to support what it is that you guys are doing. I think it's much needed for the channel. So thank you.